The member from Newmarket, Aurora.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. Before I ask my question, Speaker, I want to, on behalf of Ontario families and businesses, thank our Federal Finance Minister, Jim Flaherty, for standing with us and rejecting this government's $2 billion tax increase. But we know that won't stop the government either, because they're looking to turn every government service into another revenue tool. In their non-tax revenue document, appendix after appendix is filled with creative ideas about how this government can go deeper into Ontarians' pockets. Schedule A, photo radar, red light cameras, and just to show, Speaker, that nothing is off the limits, this minister's document proposes a 466% hike in the commercial driver license renewal fee for seniors over the age of 65. I'd like to ask this question. Will anyone in the province be spared from this government's Be
seated, please. Be seated, please. Thank you. I'll wait. Minister of Finance.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I have to say I would have expected the member opposite to take a little bit more care in the way he asked the question. I recognize the politics. I recognize the combative nature and the theater that is being played in this House. But we have a much greater responsibility to the people of Ontario. And the member made reference to our federal minister. I appreciate the work the federal minister does. I did not, however, appreciate the fact that he came out with a letter when we've asked for nothing. We haven't put forward any such increases. We have not requested any support, and we've made clear that we would do it together with the opposition and in consultation with the public. I want to...
Order. Supplementary.
Speaker, if anyone is confused here, it's the minister. The fact of the matter is that we know full well that it's your agency. Everyone knows that you've asked for a 1% increase in the HST. The Minister of Finance is simply saying it's not on. He's joining us by saying it's not on. What we are willing to do is to help the government find $2 billion of dedicated revenue to build our transit, and we've offered to form an all-party select committee to help him do that, so we don't have to go into the pockets of ordinary, hard-working families and businesses who cannot afford it. Speaker, we have a $127 billion budget. 10 years ago, that budget was $71 billion. That is an increase of $56 billion in 10 years. Can we find $2 billion of waste and efficiency? Yes. And we're willing to help the government because obviously they can't.
Order. Order. At the risk of sounding too powerful, you might want to yell as loud as you can, but I have the last word. And I'll use it. And I'll use it. Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think what is confusing here is that the member opposite has just said that we're increasing HST. You're wrong, because that is not what we're doing. We have yet... Your proposals and recommendations are being made by Metrolinx, by the municipalities, by a number of agencies, by the Toronto Board of Trade, by the Ontario Chamber of Commerce, all recognizing that we have to look at revenues, and we are looking at our spending. That's why we've reduced spending by below 1% year over year, That's why we exceeded our...
Test laid down, test passed. The member from Renfrew, Nipissing, Pembroke is warned. And I'll respond to the opposite side as well. Finish your answer, please.
Mr. Speaker. And as a result, member opposite also referenced our degree of spending, our degree of our budget. More years before, it was only $27 billion. The fact is our economy is growing. That also speaks to the growth in our GDP and the strength of our economy. Mr. Speaker, what we need is a federal government, if they're writing to us saying they don't want to support...